Hey Aquafish, Aquarius, Pisces, I have a message for you guys today. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the energy surrounding you and find out if we have any general guidance for the days ahead. So tapping into the energy of the Aquarius, Pisces collective, please Spirit, what is the energy you'd like us to know about today? Okay, so the very first card that came out is the South Node. So past life energy, past life cycles are coming up to be observed and healed at this time. It says life's debts, the past, past lives, inborn gifts, what's left unfinished, lessons not learned, and familiarity. So this is talking about, energies that are pulling us back into feeling familiar. And just because they're somewhat comfortable does not mean they're in the best interest for us. It may be comfortable for us to internalize problems. For example, if you're somebody with a South Node in Scorpio, like myself, you may be somebody who's very familiar with going inward, with closing up, with staying hidden and concealing some of your vulnerabilities, right? But with a North Node in Taurus, you're being asked to embrace the opposite of that, which sometimes can mean bringing things out into the light to be healed, getting into that earthy, deep-rooted, grounded, logical side of looking at things, pulling away from some of the more, I don't want to say pulling away from the spiritual aspect of it, but also normalizing that yes, there is a spiritual reason and a spiritual side to this, but understanding the physical nature and how it intertwines into your situation is going to leave you limitless. It's going to leave you undefeated. I'm seeing practicality and spirituality interwoven and into a braid. It's like somebody is braiding together different fibers or different materials to create something that individually may be more flimsy or weak, but together it strengthens and is strong. So that's something that's coming through for you guys. So we also have, what else for the Aquarius, Pisces, please? All right, we have the 5th house showing up. Oh, look, there's the disco ball. I told you guys in one of your last readings, you guys had symbolism of being a mirror and how we attract connections and experiences into our reality based on aspects we have within ourselves. Sometimes it's reflective of, for example, if you're attracting a toxic relation into your life, it could be so that you could observe patterns of relationships you've had with your own parents, or going even deeper, it could be relationship patterns that you have with God and, your own faith and being able to trust in that kind of connection. And you'd be surprised how often that translates into our shadow work of, why we're running into conflict with others and not able to trust our intuition, not able to trust the signs that God has been sending us. There's also teddy bears here. There's 2 teddy bears here. So there's something about, it could be inner child healing or some kind of wounding related to childhood that is coming into focus now, that's being reflected into your reality right now. Something to do with that. Okay, what else for the Aquafish? Okay. So 2 cards came out together and it's Pluto, transformation, renewal, destruction, rebirth, death cycles, black magic, struggle, power, taboos, and obsession. And then there's the roses here. And one of them looks a little bit more, it's like 2 different shades of red, but I think it's because these are alive and these are like dried out. And there is a beauty associated with dried out roses, right? Like they're used for certain rituals, they're used for potpourri. There's many uses for repurposing certain things after their life, after something has started to break down into a form unfamiliar or different from what it was before. But because you have this South Node energy, I feel like there may be this purging process. I just did a collective reading on my other channel. I'll link it for you guys. But there's this purging energy, this reorganizing, where we're letting go of what's no longer serving us. We're letting go of the things that are starting to decompose, the clutter that's starting to build up around us. And we're not holding on to things simply because of fear or because of nostalgia. All right, we're thinking things and we're allowing it to go. I was referencing the Marie Kondo style in that reading about how if something is no longer serving us, bringing us joy, if we have a negative memory tied to something, we're never going to wear it again. You pull everything out and you really take assessment of what it is that you have in stock. And it's like counting inventory. You kind of take inventory of what it is that's bringing you joy and substance in your life, what's adding to your character and what's taking away. Because I'm also feeling we have waning moon was the other card that came out. It said surrender and go with the flow. Let go and move on, rest and recuperate. Let fate take its course. Not the right time to take action. This is a period of healing. This is a time where we're going through transformation. And even if things are starting to decompose, even if we're finding that we're having to release a lot more than what we're gaining, it has a lot to do with these past life cycles, these karmic cycles that we're releasing and letting go of. And it also has a lot to do with, you know, allowing the new to come in. And with this teddy bear, what is it about this teddy bear? Look at what's on the bottom of the deck. We have earth element. I was telling you, I'm feeling like Taurus energy, stability, the physical world, nature, practicality, solid foundations, be patient and being rooted and grounded. Clarifying for the south node, clarifying energy for the aquafish in the south node, please. Thank you. Oh, 2 cards. All right, so we have temperance and the devil. Ooh, spiritual warfare, angel versus demon. Okay, balance and healing. Balance and healing versus toxicity and repeated cycles. Choosing freedom and new pathways versus staying stuck and trapped. Okay, that's what the South Node energy is. So that was my dog barking at nothing. So there might be distractions around you sent by devil energy to get you off of your path of healing. Okay, and with these mountains here too, it might feel like as you're coming and you're getting closer and closer to these obstacles and challenges that you see coming up ahead, the devil may be trying to convince you that you're not going to be able to overcome them, that they're too tall for you. But with this crown energy, this leadership skill that you're about to master is part of your birthright. It's part of your destiny. It's part of what you came here to overcome, because here it says you're meant to fulfill your divine contract. And so I think that this South Node energy, in which could also come through in this form of like devil energy trying to keep you limited, trying to keep you stuck in this past, the things that you're used to, the things that you're comfortable, but not necessarily in your highest interest of being able to grow on a soul level, on a soul contract level, on a divine mission level. Okay, so be mindful of these habits and these tricks and these fears that are going to come up, that are going to try to get you to turn back, that are going to try to get you to decide like, oh, I can't do this. I'm going to go back to what I know. At least, even if it's bad, at least I know what to expect. And it's that kind of trickery that's going to keep you, it's going to prolong your suffering rather than allowing to, you know, get past the initial wounding and be able to heal. All right, so what can you clarify for us for the 5th house? Okay, so the 5th house, Queen of Moons in reverse. Interesting. Love affairs, romance, play, parties, creativity, children, having fun, entertainment, fertility, dating, and joy. And then we have Queen of Moons in reverse. Usually the Queen of Moons in reverse is not a very kind person. This is somebody who lacks empathy, somebody who lacks emotional maturity, somebody who holds on to grudges, is not able to forgive anybody or anything. This is somebody who becomes bitter and not able to spread love because they're hardened by selfishness. They've become to the point where they're not able to feel empathy for others because they've been jaded, they've been hurt too many times by people they extended this love to with the 5th house. Can I get more clarity on the Queen of Moons here? I also feel like it's somebody who can't trust their intuition. Knight of Stars in reverse, feeling ungrounded, feeling unsafe, feeling like you waited on things, you were patient, and they never came in. With Two of Wands in reverse, it's like you felt like you needed this to make a decision. You weren't able to make a decision. You weren't able to move forward. I'm hearing my hands are tied. Eight of Moons in reverse, feeling like you couldn't leave. Queen of Stars in reverse. It could be because of finances. It could be that you felt financially strapped to a situation. Four of Stars. And this lack mentality that kept you trapped, like where you felt like you couldn't let go of certain connections, friendships, romances, whatever it was, especially romances because of the fifth house. You left your heart in the hands of somebody that couldn't be trusted because of finances, or because you didn't have the physical ability to make something happen, or so you thought. But I feel like you really didn't, because this Four of Stars, I'm feeling like your hands really were tied to this Emperor, to this person that you depended on for leadership. This could be a job, or it could be a lover, again, like with that fifth house. All of it, all of the above, Spirit saying it left you feeling really jaded, like you weren't able to trust your intuition. You weren't able to trust your heart. You weren't able to trust the love that you feel, because you might be somebody that feels love for everyone you meet. And that's left you vulnerable, feeling like you've attracted all these soulmates that weren't meant to be with the Six of Moons in reverse, and feeling like you don't even want to look back. You don't even want to look back on these memories that hold the root to what's supposed to set you free with this South Node energy, because looking back is too painful. It feels personal, Spirit's saying. It feels like you're the reason that all of these soulmates couldn't make it work. But that's not the truth. Can you clarify this Pluto waning moon? Clarify this Pluto. Look, I knocked this card off of the other deck, and the card that was underneath that is the second house, and then underneath that we have the North Node, and then underneath that we have the 8th house. And so if you're the baby, hush please. If you're the generation that was born 8th house in Pluto, 8th house in Scorpio, or I'm sorry, Pluto in the 8th house or Pluto in Scorpio, you are going through a major transformation right now. You're going through a huge purging and rebirth process. And even though it's painful, it feels like you're literally dying. You're being reborn. There is going to be life after. I'm here to share life after love. Do you believe in life after love? And it's again that energy of these dried roses being repurposed into a new mission, into a new purpose after that death, after that transformation took place. Second house, North Node. If you're a North Node in Taurus, just know you're here to build a comfortable life for yourself. While the 8th house is focused on resources that you share with others, the second house is focused on resources that you build for yourself. An independence where you don't people please, you don't allow others to make decisions for you, you don't waver or doubt your intuition and going after the things that bring you joy, because you've already experienced what it's like to have to live and to exist for others. Right now you're living and existing for yourself. You're looking at those resources and how you're able to best utilize them for yourself, and that means clearing out clutter so that you can take I heard impressive, but I was going to say accurate stock and inventory of what you have. But you must have an impressive inventory, or else Spirit wouldn't have said that. So you probably have some kind of capability at your fingertips, whether it's a talent you have, finances, some kind of, it may even be jewelry, because I'm seeing this woman wearing like this jewelry. But whatever it is that you have everything available to you to succeed. With the compass here, you have this intuitive knowing where your heart is that's going to be able to guide you. And I'm also just seeing a whole bunch of abundance here. I'm seeing security, stability, safety. it's going to come through one way or another. It really is. Because that King of Earth was what I saw when I said, but it's not true. And that's where I decided to end. I stopped pulling cards from the tarot, but it came through in this other form. It was like Spirit's like, I will not be ignored. So there's something here about moving away from the community and into individuality. And that doesn't mean being selfish. It doesn't mean, forgetting the collective or forgetting to be of service to others. It just means being able to preserve your resources in this lifetime because you've already mastered in the lifetime past where you thrived off of community, where you thrived off of sharing some type of, like I'm seeing like communal living, where you might have had to exist in a community with others. Like if you take, for example, a king and a queen type dynamic, maybe something that's familiar with a past life or a south node in Scorpio. It's something where you supported somebody else who was in power. You had influence to help make certain decisions over the community, but from a hidden place, from a place of influence rather than as being the face that led others. While in this life, you're meant to quite literally be the leader, to be the one that is in the forefront making the decisions. So that could, materialize as you being a CEO of a business. That could materialize as you being the head of your family, the matriarch of the commune that you're building for your loved ones, right? Because more and more frequently these days, people are starting to cohabitate together. But that doesn't mean anybody and everybody is welcome to come into the life that you're building, because you're here to build paradise on earth, to build your own heaven on earth. You're here to fulfill your divine contract, and anybody that can't get with the program has got to go. Okay? So any clarifying energy here with this second house waning moon, we have the Hermit. So it's just kind of that energy of what I'm picking up on, of like too many cooks in the kitchen and you needing to really hear what God is telling you, hear the connection to home base and what it is that is in relation to your mission. Somebody else's formula is not going to work for you. It's not going to be the success plan for you, because quite literally we all have our own north node. We all have our own purpose and mission to follow and to go towards. And so keep that in mind as you're looking around you for that confidence and that reassurance that you're on the right path. Your angels are the ones that are going to tell you that you're on the right path through signs, through downloads, through your crown, through synchronicities, okay, and confirmations. So I want to get some clarity on what that teddy bear is symbolizing, because it is coming up for a reason. So for the Aquarius Pisces collective, Spirit, can you please let me know, what are you trying to tell us with that teddy bear? What's the symbolism of the teddy bear? What's the message of the teddy bear today, please? Well, that's a lot. Okay, let's see what it says. We got pencil in reverse on the bottom of the deck. And it says struggles. Struggles with creating your own destiny. Yeah. Okay, so it could be too that people always told you what you were supposed to do, where you should go, the things that you should accomplish in order to be successful in this life. And you're starting to figure out that you can't live your life according to what other people think is successful. You can't just take everybody else's word for how to make success happen for you, because even if you were to follow to the exact detail what somebody else did to gain success, it doesn't mean that's what's going to work for you. And that's why it's so important for us to be able to read our own natal chart so that we can understand the gifts that we came into this life with, some of the areas where we can thrive the most and have the most potential, because it's really easy to feel like maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I made a wrong turn. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But no, if you look at your chart and you're like, no, everything points to this. All the experiences I've had, all the prayers that I've said, all the confirmations I've received, and my natal chart, I know I was meant for this. I'm hearing a song, Meant for This, by Satsang. So that's a song that may apply to you in your situation. The next card that came out is, it says, heart-shaped cookie. and it says broken hearts and promises. You guys, if you have not checked out my reading that I'm going to link for you guys that I just did on my collective channel, that channel is more based on like me navigating my own spiritual lessons. But sometimes I have to channel my heartache into something. And I say these prayers and I get these mind-blowing synchronicities and magic that I experience around me in my interactions with God. And I feel like it would be a shame not to share it. And so that's what that platform is dedicated to. Bibliomancy, and the metaphors that Spirit speaks to me through music. So the heart was something that came through again and again, like 4 different cards in that message. And the heart is showing up here again today. And I don't think it's by accident or due to anything but God's pure design. And it says broken promises and broken hearts. And this is why the teddy bear is there, because the teddy bear is holding a heart. He's holding this heart here. Wow. Okay. And you know why this might be coming up? My spirit guides first came to me in the form of my teddy bear. When I was a child, I lived in some pretty scary circumstances. Sometimes the houses we lived in were haunted. Sometimes, my dad was an alcoholic and there were a lot of fights and yelling that made me feel afraid. And my teddy bear was communicating with me telepathically, and at the time I thought it was like an imaginary friend type of thing, and I found out later that no, my angels came to me, speaking to me through the form of a connection I had with my teddy bear as a child to help me feel safe. And they came to me in a form I could understand. They came to me in a form that I could understand, in a language that I knew how to speak. And so Spirit is showing up for you in these reflective tendencies of the things that your heart holds interest for, the thing that your heart holds love for. And if that's makeup, you might get messages in the eyeshadow names of your palette. If it's music, you may hear messages from God through the songs that you're hearing. So for a child, it may come through in the form of a connection with their companion, their teddy bear. All right, so know that your angels have always been with you, and it may just not have been as obvious. When Queen of Moon's in reverse, you might be feeling like you can't trust your intuition, but you most definitely can. Your angels have always been speaking to you, and that's why this crown is showing up here too. It's showing up here with this Queen of Moon. She's got this crown above the water symbol. Your crown, although it may be closed off from time to time and throughout your life, it functions just fine, and you're able to access that connection to God at any point. All you have to do is reach out. We have impact, memorable impressions, and influence. So I really think that these situations, these things that you're not wanting to look back on, these root causes of certain emotions that are coming to the surface right now, they feel heavy. And they're asking to be purged, but the impact and the lesson are going to remain. Okay? After you're able to cry it out, after you're able to give yourself that nurturing and that self-care that we have to give ourselves, especially during the full moon cycles, the benefits are going to make a lasting impact even after the heartache and the sorrow from the situation has passed. Because I don't want to diminish, with Queen of Moons in reverse, sometimes that can be a serious depression. Sometimes that can be a lot of sorrow associated with grieving, loss, purging, shadow work. Okay, allow it to come to the surface, but know that it's not going to last. I don't think it'll even last beyond a week, to be honest. I think a lot of what's coming up is directly related to the moon and the cycles. And, if you think about how the moon is able to affect the tidal waves of the ocean and to affect the movement of the sea, it's only logical that we would also be affected by the different energies of the moon, being that we're made up of mostly water. And so keep that in mind. It's not just you if you're feeling off. There's so many outside factors interlinking into what you're feeling and experiencing now. We have Dreamcatcher here. It says protection against harm and negativity. So you are protected. And that's another thing that helped me feel safe in those haunted homes and in those moments of, being surrounded by heavy and dense energies throughout my entire life. And for a long time, accepting that as normal. For a long time, not even knowing that anything else existed. Finding ways to feel safe, finding ways to utilize my environment for all that it did have to offer me in those moments, to still find safety within myself and within my own little bubble. Because when I used the dream catcher that my mom would make for me, I quite literally felt like as long as I stayed on my bed, nothing could get to me, that I was within a radius or a frequency of a bubble of protection, that none of those energies were allowed to come into. And that worked for me for a really long time. So there's something there to symbolically reference, whatever it is that helps you feel safe, whatever brings you protection, and to not be afraid to ask for that as well, to not be afraid to reach out in prayer to your angels, to your higher power, and to ask for that guidance and that protection in those moments where we feel like we can't do it alone. We have fan here in reverse. It says difficulty communicating with others. It could be too that you feel like nobody understands, like maybe you're getting cast a lot of the blame for some of the things that are happening right now. And I don't think that's the case. And it's not to say that you're blameless or that you should lack accountability in the shadow work that you're doing, but it's to say that you don't need to internalize it all, that there are many factors interweaving into the situation. And sometimes when it feels like nobody around us can understand what it is that we're going through, it's because God is asking for us to bring those prayers to the divine, to be able to confide in God and to trust in God in those moments, because that's what so many people out in the collective are lacking these days. Okay, and then we have Valentine, and it says a new relationship that is going well. And didn't we have, it's crazy, Spirit speaks. Okay, so the teddy bear, right? I was like, what does the teddy bear mean? It says broken hearts and promises. And then here it says a new relationship that is going well. So whatever it is that in the past has left you feeling broken, like a brittle and stale cookie, and maybe you were told like that's just the way the cookie crumbles, that's just the way life is, but Spirit's saying no, there's something better out there. And it's just like me as a child, not even knowing what it was like to exist in a house that wasn't completely haunted, and to not exist in a family that didn't know how to communicate in the most healthy manner, right? But then discovering through seeing that other people experience those healthy families and those healthy homes, and seeing it on TV and hearing about it in fairy tales. I know that there are healthy connections out there, and it wasn't until I started establishing boundaries and saying I'm not going to accept anything less than what I deserve that I started to attract those connections that help build me up and help get me to the next level of being able to feel compassion, to feel love, to feel safe, to understand what home even means. And as soon as I got it, it feels like sometimes something comes in and tries to steal it away. Something tries to get me back into the south node, toxic cycles that keep us trapped, right? The baggage that weighs us down, that heaviness. But no, because I'm not alone. Even though I'm surrounded by all of this heaviness and all of this fear, I still have my angel team, my spirit guides, my intuition guiding me. And I know that there's new connections coming in. And I know that the more that I move towards my purpose, the more that I move towards my North Node and embodying the energy that I'm being asked to take on, it's going to be uncomfortable at times, but it's going to lead me to this sweetness, to this fresh cookie, to this new relationship that knows how to communicate, that knows how to bring out the best in me, that knows how to lift me up. I'm hearing that song, love lifts us up where we belong, right? And so knowing that life can be a dance at times, because I'm seeing that scene from Moulin Rouge where they're dancing on top of the elephant. And the life that you've experienced is not necessarily the life that you were always meant to live. Satine was a call girl, right? She worked at the Moulin Rouge, and she didn't even believe in love because of the life that she had existed in. She had to harden her heart to be able to survive, to be able to exist as a prostitute. She had to tell herself love didn't exist, because otherwise how could she continue to sell some of the most intimate aspects of herself if she believed that love exists? Because if she admitted to herself that love exists, then she might have to start taking accountability for the way that she was neglecting her own heart and why it was that she felt like she wasn't worthy of that love in the first place. But through meeting her partner, she was able to see love did exist. She was able to catch glimpses of the potential of what another life could show, and that not only was she worthy the entire time, not only did love exist the entire time, but it was her birthright to experience it, that soulmate came into her existence, into her reality in one of the most confusing yet synchronistic manners. It was one of those situations where it's almost like the hand of God had to kind of orchestrate every experience to fall into place exactly as it did for that mistake to happen, where she was supposed to meet with the Duke, but she met with him instead. But it was one of those happy accidents that even though it appeared everything had went wrong, it all went exactly as it was meant to, for her to be led to her soulmate. There's also symbolism here with the rose. We have this gummy rose in the background as well. So let's just get one more card about the rose. Thank you. We have inner trust. And I think that this could be a reference to Mary as well. I think it was in my collective reading that I had done earlier. I had mentioned Mary Magdalene and the Mother Mary. And I had channeled Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? So if you've been seeing synchronicity and symbolism related to Mary, know that she's with you, guiding you, holding you, protecting you, and helping you to heal not only your inner child, but to help mother you through the situation, to guide you towards what love is supposed to actually be. I hope that this is helpful. I'll see you guys again soon.